Okay, so we literally just finished. We literally just finished our exams. What the heck? That person doing? We just finished our exams. We got probably hella free time. What we can do. What we can do is go to the student classroom, the council classroom, or we can hang out with Yoku, maybe get our strength up more. Hold on! Hold on! Hold on! I'm feeling like I'm getting old. Roxas, how old are you, bruh? Hold on! Got a new phone case, and that makes me super happy. Hey, it's the little things, bro. You gotta find things every day to be happy about, bro. Alright, let's talk to her. Oh, what do you want? Just wanted to talk. I don't have anything to talk about. I'm sorry.
Oh.
Sorry about that. I don't think she's willing to talk to me anymore. I should try again another time. Are we serious? Are we, bro?
Oh.
Because I said I just wanted to talk. I can start to steer the conversation, bro. What? Bruh, Baroda gay. Are you kidding me? Nah, bruh. Nah, we're gonna rewind. Rejected. Nah, F that, bro. I'm gonna talk to her. Real life something. Bags, I get happy by slapping my tummy. What the heck, bro? Bro slaps his tummy, he's happy. Through this case of transparent, so now I'm able to put a sticker on the background. Oh, see, look, it's more than just the case. See, Voltaire, he'd probably be upset that I'm doing this. But I want to talk to her instead of Yuko to see what she offers. Nothing, really. What? Why are you talking to me if you don't have anything to say? Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh.
What is the point of her being out here if I just can't talk to her at all? Put a Tito sticker on my phone, now it's heavy as hell for some reason. What the heck? Bruh.
Oh. Hurt.
Bruh. Wait. The Red Miku has some people know her. I don't know the Red Miku. We're going to time to have the same outcome. Well, what is the point of me even picking one or the other to do the same thing? ReZero timeline. Wait, Voltaire, should I go talk to Mako or should I go talk to Yuko today? Or Roxas, who do you think is the better person to talk to today? 5:23 on a Saturday. Yuko or Mako? Because I can't freaking talk to Chihiro. ReZero reference is fine. Yo, wait, I've been seeing on Instagram that the latest episodes of ReZeros are like all 9.8, 9.9s out of 10s. Is it actually like that fire? I stopped watching at season 3 or at the end of season 3. Should I pick it back up? Crazy. And there's Bread Miku. Also valid. Yes. I've been watching Demons of the Shadow. Okay, maybe I gotta watch ReZero again. Okay, who do I talk to, chat? Who do I talk to? Did I talk to Yuko or did I talk to Mako? W chat interaction. I think I talked to Mako here. Like I said, you can hang out with Mako if you want to be wholesome for this day. Wholesome. LARPer who stopped after season 2. I stopped after season 3. This looks like horror farming, like most anime that get highly rated and instead just crazy insane. Well, I've seen the first wait. I got to the point after the tree falls, I think, or he goes into a different part of the world that's more like foresty. And I finished that season, but that was like years ago. I don't know, I'm just a viewer. Okay. There's so many people to talk to. Well, let's see who's here real quick. If it's that fat guy, I don't know if I want to talk to him. F that guy. He makes me answer questions to hang out with him. I think I'm good. I finished season 3 and know what's happening in this latest season. Yeah, I think if I talk to her, I mean, they're both the same level, so I guess it's cool. You think Stripey's okay? He said he's only here on Sundays, but I can't come that day. I wish we could play again, but I'll be okay today since you're here. What's the question? Spend time with Mako or Yuko? I wanted to spend time with Chihiro, but she got all flustered because I said I didn't have anything to talk about. And then she's like, oh, sorry, let's not talk. What the heck, bruh? They're both at level 3, by the way, Voltaire. You're proud Yuka, okay? You're no fun. I know, I know. I know, I'm the lamest. I'm mad lame. What is freaking Takuba looking at, bro? Oh, hey, exams are finally over, huh? Congrats on surviving. Now you have time to do whatever we want to do. Minus 50 honor, bro? Bro, I think it's weird that he's hanging out with a kid anyways. But this game came out in like... The OG version of this game probably came out in 2003. Back before the internet, so people were just hanging out with kids a lot more, like Michael Jackson was. Are you heading out soon? I was thinking about what to do since there's no practice today. Seems Yuko wants to walk home together. Ooh, but she liked me. 2009, buddy. Well, I mean, that's when Michael Jackson died. That's also the same year Nuja Best died. Did y'all know that? My 2 favorite artists. Yay? She said yay to hanging out with me, bro. She wants me. They're the athletic training regimen, and I can feel my body. I mean, this will grow stronger soon. We didn't even talk about anything. So I go back to my dorm. We didn't even talk about anything. Bruh, I wanted to talk about something. Oh,
you're back.
Senpai, I hear you
Luke's
made a
not
full
here to
recovery.
make the joke, Sag.
Congrats, man.
It's okay.
I gotta catch up on my training. I've basically been slacking off for a whole month.
Shouldn't you take it easy though? You don't want to re-injure your arm.
I've already wasted enough time. Besides, we found another Persona user.
Ooh.
We did? Sweet. Are they a girl?
Yeah, she's a second year who goes to our school.
Hold on. Oh, I didn't know there was another girl besides a robot.
Fuka Yamagishi. Do you guys know her?
No.
Yamagishi?
Wait, I was actually...
She's in class E.
I was told... Y'all told me that I should romance her, actually. Let's see what she looks like. Does she have potential? Let's see her personality.
I don't see her at school very much. She gets sick a lot from what I heard.
She was at the same
Meh.
hospital as me. That's how we found out about her. But considering her health, she probably won't be able to fight.
What's she gonna do?
It's too bad. We already had an evoker ready for her too.
What? We're giving up on her already? But I was gonna offer
I'm
her
not a
some
big Fuka
prizes.
fan. Why?
Why are you looking at me like that? Come on. Let's just quit it, okay?
Okay, when are we meeting her? Well, since Akihiro isn't with us yet, I'm not going to go back to Tartarus because it's harder, I think. It might not be that much harder, but we can level up our abilities, stats. Go buy some SP. We need to stock up on SP. Bro, but I still don't understand. They gave me the note that said that I could buy more of these drinks, but it's not letting me buy more of these drinks. Like, why can't I buy more of these, bro? Bruh. Sky asking on the why? Vibes. Hey. But did it. Man in a suit. Let's see what we got here. I don't know if I sold my stuff here yet. I have nothing.
What would be?
Wait, he's with me now. Am I trolling?
As long as you need. All done. Be seeing you.
Don't do it, you're too poor. I'm too poor. Okay, looks like Akihiko's actually here. So we could actually go. Yo, everything he has is just better than ours, bro. Wait, let me look at his persona. Let's see what band to give him. He has 205. He's higher level than us. What the heck? He's a striker. What the heck is this thing? Ew. It's a very weird looking thing. Small feet, small hands. Oh, he does electricity. That's pretty cool. Oh, he can electrocute everybody. Yes! Oh, that's so good. Yes. Okay, yes. Oh, that's good. I like that. Wait, oh, hold on. I didn't look at all of the Persona stuff. This game...
What's this game even about?
This game has, like a moral to the story. This game is about, life is, like, precious or something. I don't know, I haven't beat the game. But, like, life is important. So, seize the moment or something like that. And it's basically like, it's a JRPG where you're trying to, solve something. And basically, right now, there's shadows in the world. Or basically, another way of saying it, people are like have fentanyl overdose in the real world, so we're going to the shadow world to kill the shadows so that people quit having fentanyl overdoses. Strength to 10 magic. I think we'll give him some magical stuff. 18 strength, holy. For you to talk to me. The good and bad, the news stories you had. As I drift across the sky, the hour hands turns high. So good night, let me sing a lullaby. I'll be singing, baby. Hey, 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 hey. Yo, hey, yo, 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 yo. And it has really good music too. Academics, do some gameplay, bum. This gameplay is about figuring out what I want to do. My favorite song in the series. Okay, actually, let's go to Tartarus. Wait, let me see. Do I have anything I can fulfill with her?
Marvelous.
Marvelous. Yes, sir.
Here are my requests. You must know. I will await a report of success.
Okay.
Very well.
Very well. Let's go to Tartarus. Since we have... Oh, whoa, what is this? Hey, what's up? Come to think of it, Elizabeth asked me to get a specific item for her.
What is it?
Oh, I didn't see what you wanted to, okay. Okay, this is an item. This is an item. An item! Handheld console. Yes, sir. Okay, now I can go take that back over. And then we'll go to Tartarus. So, Skillix, this is like life maxing, basically. We're life maxing. Well, I could have teleported straight to the Velvet Room. L speedrun.
Good day.
Good
Are you
day.
accepting a let's hear the result. Oh,
Pixel vest. Hold on. Let's see how good that is.
very well.
Boring. Wait, just wait, but wait. All right, chat. I gotta get ready for corpo slave things tomorrow. Night to all. All right, Vin. Thank you for hanging out. You can just talk to her in Tartarus. This is why we have you here, Volunteer. Holy, I'm a freaking idiot. I like the 10 SP. Oh my gosh, that's good. Okay, here we go. Corporal slave things? I don't know what that is. What is the reference? Let's go.
All right. It's finally time. I know we've put a lot on you guys, but that's over now.
What are your strengths?
I'm a power fighter that overwhelms my foes with my fists. Or so you'd think, right? But that's definitely not all there is. I've been sharpening my skills as well, and that includes the ability to target an enemy's weakness. Just wait, you'll see.
What?
I'll make up for all that time I lost before you know it.
How is he gonna do that?
I've got to show my stuff as one of the veteran members. Just make sure to put me in the advanced team.
All right. Well, let's get to it. We got 4 people. Let's just see how he works. Let's see how he works.
Okay, let's get to it.
See what he can do for us here.
Hey,
Umugi water. Dang, I have a lot of these. Miragi. Miragi fire damage to all fellas. Fire damage. 100 HP to all. Okay, that's really good too. Good stuff. I'm liking what I'm seeing here. This looks really boring, I can't lie.
By the way,
There's a lot of stuff that's going on. It's a story, bro. It's a story. Have you had a chance to explore status ailment yet? If you run into a powerful enemy, you may be able to weaken them with a status ailment. For instance, inflict distress to diminish their attack or confuse them to render them passive. You'll want to gauge the situation and pick your tactic accordingly. Status ailments has been added to tutorials.
Let's keep going.
All right, let's go.
Shadow spotted. What's the play?
Go for the enemy's weakness to win.
I'll go with.
Wind.
Never mind.
There, you can go for a weakness. All right, the enemy's down.
It's all you.
You're on a roll.
You should be able to hit a weak spot. The enemy's down. Good hit.
In the peace. Peak sin. Listen. Let's go. And now we got 4 people, so we should be doing a lot more damage. Oh yeah, we're cooking. XP. XP's good.
That's how it's done.
Everybody level up. 136 off of that? Holy.
Do the same thing for our next fight.
Holy.
All these floors look the same. Try not to get lost.
Oh, I won't get lost. One thing about me.
It's the stairs.
Oh, the stairs already? Okay, let's go back. Backtrack. One thing about me, I don't be getting scared or lost. Because there's a map that knows exactly where everything is.
Looks like we've mapped everything on this floor.
Ooh.
This shouldn't be a problem.
You can handle that.
Unknown. A spurious book. Don't know what that means.
All right, it's my turn.
Holy.
Now let's finish him off.
Holy, he's cool. He's cool.
Put you down.
My friends are glazing Persona to me, telling me to play it. Yeah, it's a really good game. You should play it. You should start Persona 5 though, I think. I think Persona 3 isn't as like
This is over.
isn't as like cool to watch or play. I mean,
That's
I think this game is starting off a lot slower than Persona 5. Revival beat, okay, we need that. We needed that. Definitely slower than Persona 5. I'm a fan of the music, but I'm not a fan of turn-based.
What?
Well, the turn-based isn't everything. I'm getting unusual enemy single stay alerts. Show me some.
Hey, listen.
The group of 3.
We have the
You
advantage.
have the initiative. Go for the enemy's weakness to win.
To win. Yo, he has so much agility. Holy.
Who's gonna win this?
Persona.
The enemy's down. Good hit.
You're up, leader.
Bam, bam. We're gonna spread the SP usage so that we all keep our SP high.
Roger that.
Since there's 4 of us, it's easy. It's so easy. So in this game, you surround them. In Persona 5, you all like stand in a line. I don't know which one I like more. Nah, I think I like Persona 5 more. Because like they like turn to you, turn and face you on each side. It's kind of like they shouldn't be like fully turning it like to everybody that's attacking them. I don't know.
Next.
I don't know. I'm yapping about whatever. I'm abolishing.
Hey, let's do this.
I did get Persona 5 Rolla as a recommendation from my friend. Yeah, Persona 5 is.
Don't lose focus.
Holy! Is this just a glaze Akihiko day? Like, what is this, dude? This is Mad Ore right here. Persona! Holy glaze. But yeah, now Persona 5 is definitely a better game, but it's longer.
Good. That's one less to worry about. Just one less. Talk about finish the enemy.
Are you? Da 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 da, baby, baby.
You won. Great work out there.
Ooh yeah. Oh. I can't hold any more personas. I need to choose a opponent to release. Well, can I see what he has? Stats. Oh, hell nah. Pixie? I get off. Yeah, they told me it's about 100 something hours. Yeah, it's probably like 160 hours because you got Royal. If you got the base game, then it would be like 90 to 110, 120. Not too long. Fill out the compendium. Ooh. All right. Arca Shell.
Wait.
Don't let him lie to you about regular Persona. Well, it took me like 90 hours my first run. Bro, I'm watching Park and Harbor, she's playing it, and she's on 165 hours of the game. And I think she beat it today or something. But nah, bro, nah, there's no way. It's in a league of its own, far different from the run-of-the-mill shadows in this area. This will be a tough fight. If you're not feeling confident, then don't engage in combat. Like exploring Tartarus, you may encounter the rare formidable shadow. Defeating them will yield greater rewards than usual, but brace yourself for a trying battle and take care not to become the hunted. Alright. How do you even make it that long? I don't. Oh.
The enemy's strong. This is going to be a tough fight.
Still gig. He looks like he'd be weak to Zia. Yep.
I've been waiting for this. Let's get in there.
Why do I feel like this isn't gonna do that much damage? Holy.
I'll go with. Love that.
You should be able to hit a weak spot. Now, it's time for a
Who's next? What to do? Never mind. I'll go with. Love that.
Leave it to me.
Come on, I'll show him.
Do it.
I'll give him hell.
69.
Pull the trigger.
I wonder if I can confuse him as well.
What's next?
See if Bash is better. Critical.
good hit.
I'll take care of this.
Oh, geez. Back up. Holy confusion, bro.
Not that. I'll go with
Okay, too much content and you can't waste any time if you want to do deep run, you're looking at like 120. Barkin was probably doing viewer stuff that makes the game longer or challenges. Perhaps, per maybe.
I can handle it.
Ready to roll. Do it. What's the plan?
Power slash again.
In this situation,
Yeah, you're done. Oh, I missed that one. It's not good.
What's next? Stuff on that.
He resisted that one.
Best bet would be. How we do this?
Okay, so punches, he's weak. He's still confused? Holy! This dude is... Oh my god, he's getting cooked!
I have to do this.
Can't stop me now.
I'll take care of this.
Holy, get comboed, bro!
All right.
Bro couldn't attack. Yo, am I really good? Bro couldn't attack that entire time. Honestly, if I continue, I started, but stopped for a month almost. I'll be focused a lot because I like to know what the fuck I'm doing while playing lore-wise. Yeah, you should continue it at least a little bit longer. 20 hours my first run, I was 2 times his progress. My progress? Wouldn't force it too much. Come back like 600, you're willing to restart. Of this game? By 20 hours, you're 2 times my progress. I'm not even 20 hours in.
All right, who's next?
Yeah.
That was a pretty good fight right there. And we didn't even really use that much.
Looks like we've met.
We didn't even use that much SP2. I mean, you are reading chat and doing pauses, so respect for
Treasure
that.
chest.
Yeah, I mean, come on, I do be streaming.
Shadow up ahead. We taking it out?
I do be streaming and whatnot.
All
A
right,
single
let's do
enemy
this.
detected.
Corrupt Tower.
One step at a time.
Well, let's see.
I'll take care of this.
Literally everything's weak to electricity. Literally everything's weak to electricity.
what to do.
Honestly, I'm looking for something to play other than Deadlock. Something with a story, maybe an RPG. Then play Persona. Yo, what the heck? Literally play Persona. Very good. Because you know Persona 6 is coming out.
Everyone, now on to the next.
And that game is supposedly going to be a banger.
I'll take care of this.
Go for the enemy's weakness to win.
One step at a time.
on that.
I can handle it.
You take this one.
Here I go.
Dude, do you know what I have in my PC that I started but stopped mid-game? What?
Just stay.
Don't say nothing crazy, bruh. Don't say nothing crazy.
That's an enemy down. Good job, Takeba.
I'll leave it to you.
The Last of Us 2, Horizon Zero Dawn, Tales of Iron, and Red Dead. Yo, you're never. Yo. You don't like story games that much, do you? You don't like story games that much, do you? You haven't beat Red Dead Redemption or The Last of Us?
There, you can go for a weakness.
Persona.
Excellent work. You hit a weak spot. You won.
I love story games, but I just get dried out so fast.
Okay.
What story? What was the last story game you finished, and how long ago was it that you finished it? Cause to me, it sounded like
Is that treasure?
you ain't like story games that much.
4 targets detected. Don't lose focus. So ice has no effect. So the enemy's weak to light.
Better use this.
That's it, Akihiko. You knocked down 2 of them.
Come on, Junpei.
You should be able to hit a weak spot.
Telltale series though? Oh, Telltale's pretty good. Did you see that they're doing a The Wolf Among Us 2 soon? Drinking no time to welcome to the game. I'm back. Welcome back. Internet dies at 10 for me. I didn't know that. Why does it do that? Played every Telltale game you can think of. You almost lost my brain. I don't know what that means.
What to do?
Nicely done. Enemy eliminated. Looks like fire won't work here.
Bruh,
Now let's move on.
you gotta quit missing that, bruh.
Okay, let's keep on exploring.
Holy money! What the heck? You don't know why, but every day I waited so long for The Wolf Among Us 2. It's gonna be fire. I never played the first one though, so I might play the first one
Like it's worth it.
whenever it gets announced the release date.
Looks like the enemy's weak to ice.
I'll go with.
All right, the enemy's down. Here's your chance. You can target a weakness. The enemy's down. Good hit.
Look the benefit. The best second Telltale, the second best. You might be right. I was going to say that I have like 3 Persona 5 runs where I did a deep dive on mechanics, personas, confidants, etc. And which confidants are just the best? What are the best confidants in Persona 5 and Persona 3?
Last one. Stay focused. We can't slow down now. We cannot pass this up.
Who's gonna win this?
Let's go.
You won. Done.
nowhere
Now
close to
let's move
done.
on.
Metaphor will clap your cheeks. Bruh. What's up, Prism? This ain't Deadlock, Mr. Big A. We're not in the Deadlock section, right? How did that go today? Deadlock? It was fun. I'd play with some doodads. Just some gaming. But the sun is... Wait. It depends on 5, but the sun in 3 is the best by far. By far? Yo. Ooh, all out attack. That's good. I like that. I also stopped playing Monster Hunter World for some reason. Bro, you're just a quitter. Quit quitting things, dude.
Good workout.
Bro just likes quitting everything.
One to the.
Okay, we go this way. I know, man. I know no need for shaming. I'm shaming the heck out of you, bruh. How dare you not finish Red Dead Redemption 2? Let's peek.
Hey, let's loot that.
What is that one? Dark damage. Interesting. I wonder what's gonna be scared of dark. Maybe a very bright enemy or something like that. By the way, have you been taking advantage of your physical skills? Physical skills have a chance to knock enemies down regardless of their weakness. Akihiko and Lori specialize in that regard, if I recall. Give it a try in the next battle. There's a rare chance that a critical hit may occur when using physical skills or attacks. Landing a critical hit can knock down an enemy without targeting its weakness. Attacking an enemy. Wait, who's better at crits, Voltaire? Lori or Akihiko? Attacking an enemy with a status ailment will increase the likelihood of landing a critical hit. There is a high chance of landing a critical hit when attacking an enemy in distress, but a critical is guaranteed when attacking a frozen enemy. Okay.
We don't see that kind of chest often. Let's not pass it up.
Distressed and frozen.
Hey, did you hear something just now? Not that I'm scared or anything. Hey, doesn't that chest look...
You know what? Name 3 and I will finish them because I can't choose what to finish.
What's next?
Red Dead Redemption 2, Persona 5 Royal, and The Last of Us 2. Those are the games you should finish. And that's gonna take you some months because of those games are kind of long. Fuji's really good. The Shrine Lady, I forgot her name. Most people think that Kawakami is the best in 5. You do get a lot of value from her, to be honest. Rip my GPU. Bruh.
There, you can go for a weakness.
Never mind.
Looks like fire won't work here.
I'll go with.
Unicorn. Oh yeah. Ba da ba 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 da ba ba.
I can handle it.
Hey, pick me.
Junpei's the best with crits, okay? Good to know, good to know.
Enemy down. Keep that up, Yuri.
Baby, baby. Da 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 da. Oh yeah. Ba da ma 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 da ma ma.
Now let's finish him.
So this should do more damage. Junpei's better overall too. Interesting. They did the exact same amount of damage.
At a time. I'll let you Don't pull any punches. Put you down.
Now that I think about it, Kawakami is probably the best. I don't remember Kawakami, if I'm being honest. Money?
Doesn't look like we'll be needing a 10 cap.
Nobody's leveling up at all. Her ability to reset your tiredness and do chores was crazy. The teacher. Ice charm. Ice evasion. No. Ice evasion. No. No, ice evasion. What's up, Shark? Bro, y'all acting like I would even let any of this happen.
Nicely done.
Let any of what happen? What? Only formidable foe.
I'm not pulling it.
W Shark.
This will be a
day in the
difficult
job.
battle. Stay focused. There, you can go for a weakness. This is our chance. Let's
You're on a roll. I'm been waiting for the goated lunge. W Shark with the goated lunge. That did no damage, bro.
Like this.
talk about the knocked out. Can you get her up?
Now where to strike? Guess what the doctor ordered?
I owe you one.
In this situation,
That was close. What's next?
Ooh, yeah. What a crit at? Oh, I'm on this one. I'm a goober.
You hit a weak spot. That dealt some damage.
I'll take care of this.
Oh, leg. Ooh, yeah. Ba-ba-da-ba-ba-ba-da-ba-ba. Baby, baby. Okay, go ahead and confuse him.
What's the plan?
Where's my critical strike, bruh? Critical!
The enemy's down. Let's finish.
There was a chance for a confuse. Yeah, I could have confused him earlier, but I wanted to heal everybody. But then somebody else got hit. What? What that even mean? Finish him off, bruh. Drop the copper coin. That didn't even make sense. Well, I'm definitely not gonna pick these up. Give me that Arcana.
Doesn't look like we'll be needing a 10 count.
No, there was negative chance? What do you mean negative? I don't know. I don't know what you're saying. I don't know what you mean. I don't know what that means. I don't know. Jay, what does he mean? There was a negative chance for what? For me to not land confused? Holy freaking money! The odds of you confusing him was so low. How do you know that? And I still wait, how do you know that? Wait, what? Wait, what? Why did the confusing hit odds or levels?
Now's our chance.
Wild Beast.
What's next?
Ball and Chain.
This may be a good test of your skill.
Enemy significantly higher than you? Wait, what level was he? Yeah, I didn't even know that was level. Wait, what level is this one? Oh, he's level 12. Well, we should be able to beat this dude up really easy. Disturbing the peace. I feel like fire would be the correct answer here. But I'm wrong.
Best bet. I've got you.
I have to do this.
What's next?
Damn, I'm distressed now. I mean, I'm less likely to hit something. Okay, what have I tried on
This
him?
may be a good test of your skill.
There's no way it's Bufu, right? Oh!
One step at a time.
Oh! Holy critical! Only 105. Yeah, we're literally we're LARPing. We're LARPing.
Hey, ain't that one rare?
Okay.
A rare shadow. Let's take it out here and now.
What to do?
I feel like this is gonna miss. No. 48 damage. Are we serious?
It didn't work?
Can't stop now.
I probably should have did this at the beginning.
I'll take care of this. I've got this.
Now's the time.
Of course that misses, bro.
Give him hell.
It's dark? Wait, this thing's weak to dark? This enemy or the last enemy? You think this enemy? I mean, I got 4 of them.
The enemy's fled. You almost have it.
I just wasted it, bro. I wasted it. It might be a win-win. I literally used Takuba's wind. And that... Oh, I guess it missed.
Hey, let's loot that chest.
dang flabbit, bro. Well, it is what it is, bro. I'm just down in everything now.
Oh?
No enemies on the floor. Just spell some reprieve for us, but it could very well be calm before a storm. Fortunately, there's two-way teleport nearby, so I'd say quick group maybe warranted. Maybe. 34. Holy! I made it to 34.
Oh my.
What have we here? Currently, you appear to possess a great number of personas. Quite impressive, I must say. However, perhaps in your current state, you are able to utilize even more powerful personas. Did you feel so inclined? Please make your way to the Velvet Room. Okay, let's go make a I'm level 14, so maybe we can level everything up.
Welcome to the Velvet Room.
Can't level? Well, I mean, like, level up, but can make, yeah, new ones that are higher level. Like, new personas that are higher level.
Registering, I see. Will you register it to the compendium? I've completed registration.
I too. Well then,
Holy.
shall we take a look?
This power might be too much for you.
Holy.
You can't control this one yet. This persona is powerful. This would be a wise choice. This persona is powerful. This would be a wise choice. This persona is powerful.
Is it? The Zoe is goated? Rebellion is such an OP move? Rebellion? Wait, which one had Rebellion?
This would be a wise choice.
When I can't make it, dang.
This persona, yes?
Well, I don't think I should make any of these. I don't really like any of these dudes.
You can't control this one yet.
Confuse all foes, holy.
You can't control this one yet.
Critical rate for 3 turns? Yo! Zooch?
This would be a wise choice.
This one's goated? Because the crit rate boost, and I can put the crit rate on other people? Other melee characters, like, I can put crit rate on with Auto Terrakaja. Oh my gosh. Crit rate boost and my attacks do more. Hold on, this is actually pretty good. For Valkyrie and Nugami, I'm losing Valkyrie and Nugami, the Hanged and Strength. I could buy back Valkyrie though. I haven't really used Inugami, but I was using it to level up my the Hanged with the little girl. That's tough. I mean, I could just buy him back, right? I think I have enough money.
This would
Let's
be a
do
wise
it.
choice. What do you wish to inherit?
So since you have Crit Strike, I should get Power Slash, right? For sure Power Slash, but then Auto Sakukaja? Oh my gosh, dude. That's what I was thinking. Wait, I can pick one more? Well, I already have Auto Tarukaja, and then I got Auto Sakukaja. So, like, I'm gonna buy back Valkyrie anyways. Wait, is this a passive, or do I... No, it's not a passive. Foul Breath. Tower is good for Junpei. But I'm gonna buy Valkyrie back. Actually, do I need to buy Valkyrie back? I don't know if I need to buy Valkyrie back. Because I'm taking all of her stats.
It seems you have been blessed with some power. Why, this is exciting, isn't it?
It's good for the Confidant. But don't I need the other Confidants as well? Holy. I'm Zuchaten. I shall watch as your noble soul grows from beside you. Dog is good for the strength. Why do you keep spelling strength incorrectly? Every time you spelled strength, you put the T after the H. It seems the Chariot Girl has blessed you with even more power. Nice. So I get Auto Tarukaja. So my attacks do more damage, and I have a higher crit chance. So if I bash or power slash somebody at the beginning, I'm more likely to just beat them up. Holy. Very good. Legion!
You can't control this one yet.
My bad habit. Holy.
You can't control this one yet. You can't control this one yet. This is your progress so far.
Okay, which ones do I not need though?
Browse to your heart's content.
Wait, do I need Angel? Hold on. I think Valkyrie would be good. And Ugami's also good. I gotta see what I have.
We look forward to your next visit.
You grab Valk and Shield? But would the Valk just be for the Confidant? There aren't many that are like that important. Yeah, just for the... Wait, but what about the Hanged One? Isn't the Hanged One also really important? Well, Unicorn's good because of Light. Jack Frost is good because of Bufu, because nobody else uses Bufu. What does Justice do? Garu? I never use this. Do I need Garu? Worked on Hang after Strength. My gosh. Wait, I really don't need this one. Because I don't have a Devil and Agi. I think I have another, and Zio. Freaking Akihiko has a bunch of Zio. I really don't need Lilim. But I guess for now I just get the other. No, I'm gonna get both of them. Oh, what's this one have? Do I? Nah, I don't need this one for sure. Okay, wait, what if I mix Devil and Hyro? I think I'm gonna do that. I think I'm gonna do that actually. Oh.
Good. Here are my requests. Wonderful. Most excellent. Come to the... I will await a report.
Okay. You can view your personas in a Dryad fusion. Oh, that brain thing has a rebellion move. Voltaire mentioned. Oh wait, hold on. Does he?
Very well.
Hold on. Does he? Oh, it does have that actually. That would be pretty good to put on Junpei. Okay, I guess I'll keep him and then sell. Actually, I don't need to sell. No, I'm selling Devil. I don't need Devil. I don't need Devil.
Welcome to the Velvet Room. This is your
I summon thee.
This person. So you'll be summoning this one? Very well. It's yours.
Oh, I'm poor. You can sell personas?
This persona.
I think so.
You can't carry any more than that.
Aw, I thought I could get rid of my other one. Bruh.
I too. Which will you choose? Seeing what personas come to be is a great joy of mine.
Wait, I don't need this one. 8 magic. Tin magic. Let him an angel. Yeah, not really. Yeah, wait. I'm gonna do Lilim and Archangel. Angel. Wait, no. Well, I don't have anything else that does Garu. Fuse them. Wait, I'll do it.
Please choose the personas you would like to fuse.
Nigi, Mitama. They both give me the same thing. And they'll both be the same level.
Take all
But
the time you need.
oh wait,
to
I can
consider.
take Garu from this one, actually, or I can take Light from this one. Actually, no, I'll take I think I'll take the Garu from this one. Yeah.
This persona is powerful.
It already has Garu. Holy shit! What do I do? It already has Garu. Then fuse Arc.
This persona is powerful. Please choose what skills to inherit.
It seems no new powers have been bestowed upon you.
I think this is good because I don't really have anything that has light. Big Calico Main, check your DMs. I got that 4K combo view video for you. skip. Okay, let me look at it, Angel. Okay, I think it's pretty good. And then we summon
Progress so far.
the other one, the Hanged, so that I can continue to do the other Confidant with ease.
Is this acceptable?
But I am poor now.
It's yours.
Wait, should I continue to do the Tartarus, or should I continue today? It's almost 12. I'm running out of time. Running out of time. Running out of time. Holy yeah. Oh. Holy. Where is it? Download the TikTok app. Are you freaking kidding me, bro? Okay, I'll look at it off stream, Angel. I can't look at it right now. We're gooning on stream now. No.
Very well.
Okay.
We look forward.
Let me get some more story done. Let's pass some days by. Let's get some more story done. We've done a good amount of we've done a good amount of Tartarus, I think. Yeah. Dude pulled up again
Yes.
too. No. Let's call it quits. Yeah, let's go for that. Let's go for today. And then next time we come, we'll complete all of it. Wait, I have no money. I can sell some stuff, so I have a little bit of money. Got a few messages. Didn't even have a fatty like that. Whoa, don't disrespect Faith. A little refresher. Hey, you free. Well, I could level up Chariot. I could level up both of them because I have both of the Confidants. Oh, but you haven't really said Chariot was good at all. I could do her as well. I could do the Hermit. Chariot is aight. If you want to do it, then go for it. I kind of want to hang out with her today. Maya! But I probably other stuff. Let's play with Maya. Because it is Sunday. I see Maya. I chatted with Maya for a while. Bro, can I feel like relationship go stronger? It's almost dark. Bruh, no type of communication at all. Wait, do I not have the Hermit?
Oh,
Holy Takaba. I didn't hear what she said. There you are. What? What?
so
All right. Let me go buy from here. Every day that I can, I think I would come here every single day just to make sure I'm stocked up on this stuff. And then bada bing, bada boom. Yes, sir. Every day we're stocking up. Okay. What else could I potentially do? And next time I go to Tartarus, I need to come here and get like the fortune stuff so that I make even more money or something. I didn't min-max. I didn't min-max.
All right. I'll take
Oh, I have $10,000.
Come back soon.
Holy. Boy, I'm so rich. Oh, heck nah. Okay, what can get my charm up? Oh yeah, get to level 6 charm so that I can maybe wow Takuba. I still like Takuba a lot. This is what we're gonna do. Get the charm up to level 6. Come on, charm, baby. Okay, tomorrow's the big day. We see our test results today. We see our test results today.
Good morning.
Morning, you're punctual as always, Artorias. Come on, man, you know me. This morning, Junpei left earlier than usual, looking like the world was about to end. What happened?
Yeah.
Our midterm scores are going to be revealed today, so he said he's gonna beg the teachers for a higher score before they get posted. As if that's gonna work. Oh, by the way, you remember that girl Sonata's senpai was talking about? Yamagashi Defuka girl? I heard she has a weak constitution, but that's just a rumor. I wonder what she really is like. Man, Yukari's alright. You're alright! Yuko's alright! But having more people join us in our fight is good news, right? Yes. Exam results are up. I'm in the top 10. Let's go. Yuko's pretty alright. Everyone's looking at me. Holy. Oh, my charm's going all the way up. Come to think of it, Mitsuru promised to give me a gift if I scored well. I should talk to Mitsuru when I see her. Lunchtime is almost over. I should go back to class. Ah. Yes. Top 10, baby.
Okay.
All right, class, let's settle down. You can show off your scores to each other later. It's been time to going over to turn down. First part was kanji dissertation section. I didn't even get that part wrong. I was gimme. I'm sure you make me ashamed to be your teacher sometimes. Next was a short essay. Reaction to a passage about bullying in school. These don't have a sole correct answer. You could write whatever comes to mind as long as it's relevant. You could even write about something you've never discussed out loud. Like a complaint about bullying at Geku-Con, for example. Though I'm sure that's not an issue in this class, right? Bear in mind, I hate cowards who resort to bullying. I'm feeling sleepy. Should I close my eyes for a few minutes? No, Volunteer told me to maximize my academics. I should passively do it.
Okay.
Because it costs a lot and I need to be getting everything up. Paying attention to that. Academics, baby! Come on, I need to passively get it. Good man. Hey, I'm trying to make this be the best run of all time. Class ends today. Wait, where is she? Holy everywhere. All right, let's see what's going on in here. Whoa. I don't want to be friends with you. I want to be friends with the girl. Never mind. No. No. I know I just looked at the exact same thing, but like, how am I ever gonna talk to the girl, bro? Bro! Well, then in that case, go do magician. I can't do magician. No, that's not, it's chariot. That's chariot. That's chariot, look, it's chariot. So I think what I will do is go see if I can buy some more from the station, and then I'll go to the shrine. No. Ba-da-ba-da-da. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Because this is how I get to sun. Oh, wait. Wait, I can talk to Sun on Sunday instead of talking to Mako now. That was the point that you wanted me to talk to Mako, was to meet Sun on Sundays? Was that it? Part of it? Okay, let's go.
So, you know how it was my birthday the other day? Well, guess what? Mom and Dad both remember.
W.
They really do care about me.
W parents, man. Nah, they don't care. Of course they care. That's great news.
You're right.
Yeah.
I got so many presents. I even got a birthday cake.
Let's
It's been
go.
so long since we ate together as a family. We used to do it all the time. How come Mom and Dad don't get along anymore? I know. I'll just ask them why. If I know why, I can fix it and make it all better. I'm gonna make Mom and
It's
Dad
not your
happy.
job.
Wish me luck, okay?
That's sad that kids think that they're responsible for keeping a marriage together. We're growing closer.
Okay. Bye-bye. Let's play again later, okay?
Okay. Headed to the dorms. There's no way for her to know better. Yeah, because her parents aren't going to teach her. Because they're too busy arguing.
Would you mind heading to the rooftop with me? A quick answer. I like that. It isn't anything important. I just wanted to show you something. And I just so happen to have the key to the rooftop. Now then, shall we go? Do you recall fighting that shadow here on the rooftop a little while back? Well, while cleaning up the aftermath, I happened upon some planters and gardening tools. And I couldn't help myself from setting up our own little garden. So, what do you think? Not too shabby, huh?
You like gardening?
Oh, I wouldn't say it's a hobby of mine, really. The idea just popped into my head. I mean, look at all this space we have here. It'd be a shame not to put it to use. But I digress. There is, in fact, a reason I brought you here. I'd like you to use these planters however you see fit. Although I did set them up, I'm afraid that I won't be able to tend to a garden as often as I'd like. I did mention it to Kirijo-kun, but it didn't catch on, I suppose, due to her upbringing. Besides, you're able to cook meals at the dorm, correct? Well, now you can grow your own vegetables.
SP! We can build SP!
I'm glad you think so. It would mean a lot to me if you made good use of the planters. Once you get started,
Mako is a Nanako of P3. I don't remember Nanako, if I'm being honest. At the rooftop garden, you can raise crops and vegetables. Each one will take a different amount of time to grow. You or your teammates can eat the vegetables you harvest to gain benefits that will help when journeying into Tartarus. Holy!
Here are some
Makes sense.
seedlings.
You wouldn't
Go ahead and
plan
plant
a
them
coach
if
from
you like.
before.
You should be able to purchase other types
Okay.
of seedlings around the
Bruh.
city. Feel free to experiment. Well, that's everything.
Oh, you guys are pointing and laughing at me.
Raise the
Nice.
roof and elevate this garden to new
Nice,
heights.
nice.
And to top it off, eat your veggies. Peas.
Holy grown man. Nothing's planted, so the planet looks like we can plant some seedlings. I'm 6'4". All right. The nurse? What makes her the best confidant? What doesn't? I mean, she's pretty sick, but I don't remember what she gives you. That would make her be the coolest. Who I forgot who is Kawakami? She's the one that gives you revive and healed items. True. Is this gonna pass time? No. Also, you know the nurse is goth? Yeah? What about it? Save just in... Oh, I haven't saved the game in a minute, I don't think. Save's coming! Kawakami gives you an extra term? Holy... Kawakami's a teacher. I don't like Kawakami as a character. I like the nurse a lot more. And then I like Sumire as like the love interest. Start and play back. Might be a hot take that I don't like Kawakami. I just like Sumire more.
Shadow in the middle of town. It managed to take over public transportation. I should investigate whether this means it's finally begun. The monorail. I bet this subject would make a good...
I like Hifumi a lot. Why do you like Hifumi? I don't even know who that is. Hold on.
Oh, I need to note that one down. Unfortunately, Lady Luck played a large part in our victory, especially toward the end. If he hadn't guessed at the right controls, things could have been very bad. For shadows to work in a group to overrun large machines is unprecedented. The engine. That was an ingenious move. What is it with me today?
He's just laughing at his own jokes.
Better write that one down too.
What a goober.
Always
He's
be
really
prepared
good
for
ability-wise.
lifting
Hold on.
During a mission.
Okay, I'm a little confused with what you guys are saying. Because you guys are acting like whenever you level these confidants, they like play in the fights with you. The maid Kawakami doesn't fight with you in Mementos or the dungeons. Hifumi doesn't fight with you either. What do you mean? What do you mean really good ability and then maid ability? What are y'all talking about, bruh? Am I forgetting something about the Persona games? Funny enough, she was supposed to be in the party. Too much content. During development, they realized she was too similar to Makoto, so they scrapped her. Relegated to confidant. Yeah, you are.
What?
What did... They don't fight. None of them fight. Only
Because
allowed you to do
shadows
something
aren't
else
light.
while she did something for you. Oh, that's right. That's why she was good. That's what you're talking about.
Go, but who cares? Hey, I should write all these down and show them off the next time everyone gets together.
I forgot. That's what she did, yeah.
Don't care.
That
for
is so weird.
seafood? They also serve ground beef.
Holy.
Oh, this has nothing to do with the status report anymore, but I'm having a blast. Let's see, what else?
Okay, what did Hifume give you? The recording ended there. So that was just like a thing to laugh at, buddy. Laughing at himself. Okay? Oh, the massage that lets you do something else? Holy! I forgot how useful she was. Yo, where's Mitsuru at? Hifumi lets you swap party members? And there's no way of knowing this until you level them up, right? And doubles money if you win in one turn? Holy. I do not remember the intricate parts of all of these. Charm, baby! In my opinion, Kawhi is #1 for a general playthrough. Okay, I agree. But like, if it's your first playthrough, you wouldn't know that she did that for you, though, right? I know that everyone hated Ohaya. What did Ohaya give you? I need to look up a video of all the Persona 5 characters give you, so that I like think about what these characters can give me. Where's Mitsuru? What's up, dude? Hey, how'd you do on your exams?
Wait, what?
You traitor, dude. I'm a laughingstock. You know what I heard from these two cute first-year girls saying? Did you see the exam results, specifically Lori Senpai? He sure talks big, unlike his brain. You understand what I'm going through? My heart is in shambles, and we're not even getting a new girl on the team. No, wait, it's too early to give up hope. We still haven't heard back from her yet. How can we get her to join us? I should figure out what to say to convince her. Gravity Falls in Persona. Fumi is definitely the best comedy for combat. Ohio is the worst comedy and character maybe ever. What the what? This is great level, very useless. Gravity Falls in Persona. Made sense of Vanilla or the other way around, but literally did nothing in Royal. I hate Ohio. Okay, now I gotta look up Ohio. Whenever I end stream, I'm gonna look up what all of these confidants give you. What would you say these characters are? They confidants or are they side characters? Oh, this girl was that drunk girl. I was always drunk. Wasted so much time in my both. Holy. Oh, we can hang out with you today. But where the heck is Mitsuru? Hallway, ho. Even the fortune teller was better than. Bro, the fortune teller was pretty sick. About what happened the other day, sort of overreacted. I just wanted to say I'm sorry. I get really nervous when I talk to people, although I know I should really do something about it. It's especially bad when I talk to boys. All I can think about is running away in that situation. that Chihiya voice actor, her abilities were really good. I'm a guy. That's why I'm so nervous. Sorry, I know I can't perform my duties on the student council if I'm like this. I have to try harder to overcome this phobia.
Thank you. There.
I don't think she's willing to talk to me anymore. I should try to get... Yo. I gotta talk to her 72 different times to get her to, like, talk to me. What a goober.
Yep.
You just hang out, chat, and get to know each other better, right? So you gotta watch what you say. If you step on a landmine, it'll make them smoke. Okay, let's hang out. Let's go. Let's go to Wild Duck. There's a lot I want to talk about today.
Yeah, Emiri is... Oh, that's Ms. Kano's first name. Anyway, Emiri's really popular with the guys. And I kind of took her away from them, you know? Like she became my girl before they even had a chance.
Bruh.
Turns out Emiri's a really strict teacher when it comes to grades. At home, though, she's a real sweetheart. I love how her attitude changes when she's with me.
Holy.
Yeah, good-looking people just flock together, you know? It's like a law of attraction.
Holy gooner. Is that so?
Oh, hey, I didn't mean to hit a nerve. Come on, don't worry. We're still gonna hang out, all right? Anyway, what about you? Make any progress with Takeba-san? I feel
This
guilty
fucking
hiding all the
dude.
happiness, so I'm gonna wish for you to be happy too. And hey, don't tell anyone about me and Emiri, okay? Because teachers aren't allowed to date students. I only told you because I trust you.
Illegal! Illegal! It's illegal! Oh, we're halfway to 10 already. Yo, we're leveling up. We're almost done talking to you
Look at
forever.
time. I'm way behind on my favorite show. Well, I guess that's because real life is way better than any show right now.
I don't think Toma Chica ever is going to stop talking. And the conversation had a good spot and went home. Bruh. Question. Answer.
I see you're back.
Oh. Excellent.
Give me my prize. What are these, guys? Has any game made you tear up? I don't remember if I teared up at the end of Red Dead Redemption 2, but I remember when I watched The Walking Dead, when Lee came back from the dead on that train to talk to Clementine, I cried watching that. I didn't play that, but watching that made me cry. Persona 5 didn't? Stat upgrades valid. Play. Play what? Play what? Play what? How do I use them? How do I use them? Play The Walking Dead. I already watched the whole thing. Allies Persona. Okay, so I should use these on my allies then, right? I shouldn't use these on me since I'm going to be changing personas a lot. Yeah, hold on. Oh. Oh. So we do power on Junpei. Yes. Should I? I feel like I should save magic Because Yukari's not really getting any good spells that I like. She only has Gaku and guard and speed. So you guard her. Oh, endurance makes you take less damage. Okay. I mean, she does have the least amount of HP. And then... That's not what most people do, though. I want to just wait till we get more people. I feel like those items are really important. But I don't know if I'd want them to like always, I don't want them to have speed and magic if they're not using magic like that. Because if I look at, hold on, let me look at their personas. Specifically hers. Just wind damage and she heals. Like, bruh, that's not, she needs like luck or something. Yeah. Okay, let me see if I can go buy some stuff here. Oh, it's already 12. Dang, bro, the game is flying by. Okay, tomorrow maybe we start like early. I think we were kind of moseying about. We were moseying about today, so it took longer for us to get into the swing of things. Like we didn't really get much done today. King does minorly scale the magic. Super small flat increase. Yeah, that doesn't sound good. Sky. Let me paint a view. I feel like I'm about to level them up pretty soon. I can hear people talking.
Hey, listen.
So it turned out that cactus I bought at the 100 yen store was fake this whole time. No wonder it didn't wither. And here I thought I was taking such great care of it.
No way.
Oh my god, that's hilarious. You put so much effort into watering it too. If you want a real plant, get one from a home center or, you know, an actual flower shop. Yeah, I think I'll buy one from the flower shop on Port Island. I heard they've been selling seedlings for home gardening lately. Give me some good SP stuff, but I'm already growing plants right now, so I don't need to buy anything right now. So it's at Port Island. Station seems to be selling seedlings for home gardens. Might find new seedlings there. I should check out what's in stock every now and then. Oh, what's in stock? Oh, so it's gonna change. Okay, wait, we can hang out with Yuko today. W Yuko. Wait, chat, how much longer till we meet Fuka? You headed home? Remember the last time. So if you're down and want to try hanging out again. Oh, like I might grow stronger to Yuko soon. You got a bit? Okay, and then this is the last thing we'll do today since it's already 12. We gotta get to bed so we can get up on time tomorrow. But we head to the mall and let's do it.
Oh yeah. Have you been training to strengthen your core? It's a good idea if you want to shorten your run time. You're less likely to injure yourself too. I was talking with Kaz about putting it in the first year's practice routine, actually. Do you mind if we continue talking in the cafe? I'm a little hungry.
Dang, bro.
You again.
Stop running into her, bro. Leave her alone.
You know, it's dangerous to be running around a place like this. You're lucky it's just me. But what if you bumped into a scary man, huh? If you want to play, do it at your schoolyard.
We can't play there. The 6th graders are always hogging everything by playing soccer. They said they'll move if we can beat them in a race, but we're only 4th graders. There's no way we could win. That's why we had to play tag here instead, Auntie Yuko.
I'll let the auntie slide this time, but only because I feel sorry for you. All right, come with me.
Ba-na-ba-na.
This field is so big.
Ba-na-ba-ba-ba. Ba-na-ba-ba-na-da.
They said it's fine for us to use the schoolyard for a bit. Normally, you wouldn't be allowed in here. Understand? So don't touch anything you're not supposed to, and if something happens, let us know immediately. Can you promise that?
We promise.
Good. Then practice until the big hand on that clock reaches 12. And don't go inside the school building.
That clock, which clock?
All right, let's do this.
Wait, come here for a second.
Bro, she's not even hanging out with me, bro. Talk to me.
And don't lift your legs so high, or you might pull a muscle. Come on, give it a try. You just gotta believe in yourself.
Woohoo! Check this out. Wow, Kenchon, you're so fast. Hey, big sis, you should be our coach.
Aw, I'm a real sucker when kids look at me that way. But I've never tried coaching before. What do you think I should do?
Why not give it a go?
Really think I should?
Was that the bad option? No!
Please.
Well, it isn't a decision to make lightly. All right, I'll be your coach. But I'm not gonna go easy on you guys. And no one's allowed to quit halfway either. Got it?
Got it, Coach.
Ask me what I think.
Hey, is he gonna teach us too? Is he your boyfriend, Coach?
Never you mind about that. Now everyone, line up. I said I wouldn't go easy on you, didn't I?
What do you think? I thought that was a good decision, bro.
Positive. If you think you're gonna lose, you will.
I thought that was
Don't
good
be afraid of
decisions,
them
bro.
Just because they're 6th graders.
That sounds hard, but okay.
Eventually, they all went home.
Once they started calling me coach, I couldn't resist. Hey, I was wondering, would you maybe want to do this coaching thing together? I know I'm asking a lot, but I don't know much about racing. And plus, you're really athletic too. So if you'd coach them with me, I'd really appreciate it.
I
I
mean,
mean, why not, right? Please? Honestly, I don't think I can handle it on my own.
sure thing. 3. Give me 3.
Oh, thank goodness.
1.
I'm sure those kids will be happy too. Thanks.
Bro, she don't like me, bro. Only 1, bro. I mean, we ranked up, so that's good.
I know that I keep asking you for favors, but I'll make it up to you one day.
Welcome back.
What's up, dude? Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-da-ba-ba-ba. All right. Good stopping place. Made some progress again. A little less than yesterday when we played when we played for freaking 8 hours. So, but hey, progress is progress. I'm still having a lot of fun playing this game. Like, the only problem is that I feel like I'm not human maxing enough. I'm not manipulation maxing enough. I feel like I'm not making the best choices. Okay, wait, Volunteer, what would you say are some things that I'm not doing right? I want to be the best Persona player of all time. It's all good. No, I want to be the best manipulator. I want to manipulate all the girls to like me so that I can do everything perfectly and have the best possible ending. Damn. That's basically what this game is. Man knows what he wants. Bro, call me Sykkuno. Look at a spreadsheet. Now that's cheating, bro. That's well, I mean, I guess me asking you guys, y'all could look at the spreadsheet and then be like, well, this is exactly what you're doing wrong. You should be doing this exactly, right? But you know, I'm just getting the vibes. Am I on the right track? Basically, it's all good. It's all good. You're doing good then. Would y'all say that my first playthrough is better than y'all's first playthrough? Come on. Go. All right. Maybe I'm yapping too much. On what metric? I have no idea, bro. I don't know. I feel like I'm not life maxing, bro. I feel like I'm not the best at being a game player. I feel like I suck. I feel like I suck. 15 hours? And I'm only at level 4 of my strength, bro? Like, what? I had no shame in looking up the right dialogue choices. Nah. Wait, y'all both did that? Bro, that's not a unique experience. That's not unique. Do y'all feel like it was better that way? Playing like that? But it's still it's you, bro. You're experiencing it, but you're just doing everything right. You're just doing every single thing right. Every possible correct choice, pretty much. Okay. I think. Okay, I need to look at all the girls I could potentially romance. That's the only thing I want to look up, and then we're good. Opinion, or is that spoiler? Should I not do that, chat? That's the way you want it to go for yourself, right? In my opinion, I do a ton of research into a game I want to do good in. Okay, well, if you guys are cheating, then I'll do it too. All possible dating relationships? Dating relation ships Persona 3 reload romance options 6 different there's only 6 Yukari Mitsuru Fuka Aegis, Chihiro, and Yuko. Wait, hold on. Aegis look kind of good. Hold on, wait. Whoa, Aegis look kind of good, though. Which one's the canon one? Which one's the canon relationship? At my first Persona 5 run, all bets were off. The way I saw it better, I did add dialogue faster. I could level confidence and move to the next to level up. I mean, that's fair. I mean, that's probably the main reason anybody would do it. More of an efficiency thing for me. I think it was Yukari. I mean, if that's the canon one. I think I like Yukari and Aegis. Because her name starts with an A. But we don't even have Aegis yet. So, yeah, I went into P5 my first time, super blind. All I knew was I needed to level the therapist. Okay, wait. If you guys had to pick between Yukari and Aegis, who are y'all picking? Mitsuru, right? So that wasn't the question. Yukari and Aegis. You're picking Aegis? Okay, Roxas, who are you picking out of Beast? Come on. Yukari and Aegis. I know what I said. Yukari is a bro. No, she's not bad. No, she's not bad. No, she's literally not though. She's like not though. I hate Yukari. Yo, Roxas, what do you think of Yukari? Yukari don't care at all, bro. All my homies hate Yukari, bro. I'm indifferent. Dang, you really don't care about Aegis or Yukari. Mitsuru sits above everyone. Holy glaze, bro. Okay, what about Chihiro? I'm biased. Yeah, bro, but like, I'm not talking about, so like completely erase her from your mind. What about Chihiro? Is Chihiro good? Or is that kind of, bro would put on a collar? Vags! Jeez. Is Chihiro worth it, or is she kind of like, like I got a car wrap and Mitsuru got a fit that's similar to that fit of one of my, on my car? What? Now Yukari, alright. Okay. So is your list Aegis, then Yukari, then Chihiro? And then Roxas, like, is freaking brainwashed and doesn't see any other girl ever. Bro. 10,000%. Alright, bro. Alright. I'm gonna go ahead and call it there. Throw him in the friend zone. Okay. I'm out of here. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys enjoyed this episode of Persona 3 Reload, smash that like button and subscribe for some more Persona 3.